It's not possible. I didn't say it would be easy, Neo.
Good morning. The Committee on Parole is reconvening. We're now at Washington Parish Correctional Center. My name is Cheryl Renatza, serving as chairman of today's parole panel. Seated to my left is Mr. Danny Byron. To my right is Mr. Chucky Tillis. I'd like the staff at Washington to please introduce themselves for the record.
Good morning, Mr. Renatza. It's David Marchand again.
All right, good. Thank you for accommodating us again this morning. We have before us Mr. Crane.
Yes, ma'am.
To introduce yourself, tell us your name and DOC number.
Billy Crane, 624-912.
All right. We also have joining us this morning by here with us in headquarters is Mr. Butch Wilson, representing the 22nd Judicial District Attorney's Office. He'll be speaking at the appropriate time. We'll call on him to do so. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Mr. Crane, I'm going to read the allegation. I'm going to read some information into the record. I'm going to ask you to confirm that information, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Barra, seated to my left. Your case has been assigned to him. He'll take the lead on the parole interview.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Billy Crane, you're classified as a first felony offender. You're currently serving a 12-year sentence. You were sentenced May 12th, 2014. I have two separate dockets for forcible rape. You received a 12-year sentence on each of those, running concurrently because your total sentence is 12 years. Your parole eligibility date was set at September 3rd, 2023. You're not eligible to earn good time, and your full term date is June 24, 2025. Does all that sound correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Would you answer Mr. Barra, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Crane, looking at these two crimes, although they were separate and apart, they have a lot of similarities. And I was just wondering, what were you thinking at the time of these crimes? What was the problem? Something not right, huh?
Yes, sir. I was young and wild. I mean, I did what I did, and I mean, I feel very sorry for doing it. I mean, I messed up. I mean, and I hate to say it like this, being down this long has really taught me that you can't make mistakes like that. I mean, it's bad, and the way that people looks at you and stuff like that. I mean, there's no way that I should have done that.
Were you on drugs or anything?
Yes, sir. I drank a lot, and I did some X pills and stuff back in my younger days.
At the time of these offenses?
The last one, yes, sir, I was.
You think you got a problem?
Sir, I had a problem, and when I did that sex offender course for that year and a half, it really showed me that the way to what's the word I'm looking for? The way to help myself when it comes down to if I get an urge or whatever to not do it again.
Tell me a little something why we're trying to convince the board why we should vote to release you with those kind of crimes and pass.
Yes, sir. Well,
and why you think we should be considering to release you, because some pretty serious stuff you did.
Yes, sir. Well, I really helped myself, like I said, in these last 11 years. As you know, as far as a sex offender, you can't earn good time. So most of the places you go are not going to put you in any class anyway. But every place that I've been, I tried my hardest to get in anything that helps. Like I said, I did the sex offender program. I finished it. I did anger management. I did a little substance abuse. I've done, I got my high set. I got a better education just so I can better myself. So if I do go home or when I go home, I'll be able to be a better person in society. I mean, I've done everything that I've done to help myself, to help the people around me.
If you could talk to those victims, what would you tell them? That they all still suffering with issues. What would you tell them today?
I'll tell them I'm sorry. I mean, I messed up, and I know that I can't take back what I done, but I do what I could to help them go forward. I mean, I know that I hurt them, but the way that, you know, it made me feel after I look back at the situation, I'm like, that ain't something that a person should do to anybody. I mean, I got kids, and I know I wouldn't want, you know, my daughter to go through what they went through.
Gotcha. All right, that's all the questions I have. I just need to note though that there's very strong law enforcement opposition for this. The judge is opposed, the DA is opposed, the sheriff's opposed, and one of the victims is strongly opposed. So that's all the questions I have. We can.
Mr. Crane, so you acknowledge your guilt?
Yes, ma'am.
In your application for parole, you include a copy of your post-conviction relief.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the basis for what relief? What is the basis for that?
Well, I tried to, because the lawyer that I had, I told him some questions and told him and asked him about, you know, things that I was going through, and like the evidence that was showing that I was trying to get less time, because I don't know the word, man, it's hard to understand, and I was telling them that, man, what's the word I'm looking for, that I could have got less time, because when he told me about it, when I first got locked up, like three and a half months later, he said, Billy, they only offering you like 5 or 6 years. And I'm like, well, do you think I should take it? And he's like, no, if they only offer you that less of a time, sit in there a little while, maybe we can get down to 3 or 4, you know. And I'm like, okay, I can deal with that. And then the farther it progressed, the time went up. And I'm like, well, you told me to wait. And I was like, well, and then he came back, like, I think I did 11 and a half months before I finally took the 12 years and stuff like that. And I was like, well, you told me that they was 6 years. Is it still on the table? He's like, it was never 6 years on the table. I said, what? You told me.
I understand. So you're trying to cut your time. What do you think is a fair amount of time for what you did?
To be honest with you, the 12 years, and this is not everybody that's been in prison for whatever, but like I said, these last 6 years that I've been down, as far as like, you know, rehabilitating myself and finding the help from these programs that I took, has really helped me to get it. And I understood if I was only down for 3 or 4 years, I wouldn't have been the man I am now because of what I've done to help myself.
Glad to hear you say that. I don't have any other questions. Any questions?
How long you served since you've been there? How many years have you been in?
10 years and 11 months.
Years, 11 months. And you knew the last victim was a juvenile?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
She was a friend to my cousin, which was, I think he was 16 or 17, and I think she was 15 or something like that.
And you feel like you've learned your lesson?
Yes, sir. I have really put myself in a position to where I could help myself, because I'm sorry, sir, but the man on the right said that this is some serious stuff, and if I got a problem, you need help, you can't go back in society. And for me being that, there's no way that when I go home that I would ever put myself in a predicament like, because like I said, I haven't seen my kids in 11 years. I mean, and it hurt me because they going back and like, where's daddy at? Where's daddy at? And I don't see how you could put yourself in that position unless you do have a problem. I mean, and I'm not putting myself back in that position to even think about it again.
Are you married?
No, sir. I was very close, but I didn't get married.
Okay. No questions.
Okay. Let me ask Deputy Marchand, is there anything you can tell us about Mr. Crane?
He's only been here with us since March of this year, with no incidents or anything here, but we really don't have anything to comment. He hasn't been here long enough to really get to know him yet.
Okay, well, thank you. All right, Mr. Crane, we're gonna hear from the DA's office at this time. Mr. Wilson?
Should I approach the podium?
Yes, please, so we can put the camera on you. Thank you.
And just to introduce myself a little more formally, my name is Butch Wilson. I'm the Assistant District Attorney with the 22nd Judicial District Court, which encompasses 70 Washington parishes. Thank you for allowing us to be here today. Just to get something out of the way to begin with, this man received an incredibly lenient sentence. Based on what he did to that 14-year-old girl, he has gotten his break from the system. He has gotten more than a break. In my opinion, he should have been lifed out of that charge. That should have been an aggravated rape conviction. But he's gotten his break. It is what it is. He's here today. This is a sexual predator. This is sexually predatory behavior. There is a record of it. If you read this packet, he dragged that 14-year-old girl off into the woods. We can never, ever, ever trust him. He is going to be on the street at some point. We know that. His full term date is in another year or so. So he's going to be out there. And he is going to be exactly the sort of person that we have to be ultra aware of because of this behavior. We don't trust him. And we never, ever will because of his past. I appreciate the fact that he says that he feels bad for the victims. And I'm not here to doubt what he feels. I'm just saying that, you know, he referred to his sex offender class. He was talking about urges, which begs the question of whether or not he still has them. Whether he needs this training in case those urges come up again. When he's back out on the street, we're going to have to deal with those urges again. And we think that in all fairness, considering the facts of these crimes and the sentence he received, he should have to serve every single minute of it. Every minute of it. This post-conviction hearing he was talking about, where he brought up with Kevin Linder. I've known Kevin a long time. I find it hard to believe that he told me he was going to get 3 years out of this. Because there is no way that the district attorney's office would have stood mute if that sentence would ever have been floated on the record. Those post-conviction allegations went back before Judge Paddock, and they were heard. There were full-blown evidentiary hearings, and they were denied. He rejected them. So that, once again, is a moot point. We strongly urge you to read the statement of the victim who submitted one. I'm sure y'all are all aware of the facts of this case. This is not the sort of person that we come to right to. I don't know, nor does the district. I spoke specifically to Mr. Sims about this case 2 days ago. And he urged me to be here and to strongly oppose any sort of parole consideration for this particular thing. If y'all have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer.
Any questions?
No.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
you being
much.
here. Thank you for being here. All right, Mr. Crane, is there a statement you'd like to make to the panel before we vote?
No, ma'am. I mean, I've done everything I could to help myself. And like I said, I've done almost 11 years off of the 12. I've got everything that I've done and everything that I was told to do. I mean, that's all I can do about it.
Okay. All right, sir. I think we are prepared to vote. Mr. Barrow?
Well, Mr. Crane, I got to tell you, I agree with the district attorney. Your sentence was light to begin with. Although I do need to commend you. I was looking at your record of the stuff you did do in jail, 22 classes. Good work on that. Good work on trying to rehabilitate yourself. However, I vote to deny based on the seriousness of your crime and that the two separate victims, one of them was a juvenile, the strong law enforcement opposition, and considering the length of the sentence that you got, I've seen people get 50 years more and more for this kind of charge. So I'm going to have to vote to deny your parole.
Mr. Tillis?
My vote is to deny.
All right, Mr. Crane, I too want to commend you on the work. I know you even got some college credits under your belt, so that's good. And all that's going to serve you well. whenever you are released. I do concur with my colleagues, based on the opposition we heard from this morning, and the proximity of your full term date. My vote today is to deny your parole. Wish you well. Good luck, sir.